Hey, what is up, guys? Joseph here for my review, the spoiler review of Beauty and the Beast. This movie has joined the short line of good Disney adaptations of their classic animated movies. One of the only three that I've seen. I haven't seen Pete's Dragon, but I've Beauty and the Beast, Jungle Book, and Cinderella. Those are the only three good adaptations. I don't know which one I like more of Beauty and the Beast and the Jungle Book. I know it's between them two. Cinderella is a close third, but Beauty and the Beast and Jungle Book are right next to each other. I'm going to have to rewatch Beauty and the Beast again and rewatch Jungle Book to come up with that decision, but I know it's going to be close. It's going to be close between them two. But I can't think of one bad thing performance-wise about this movie, from Emma Watson, Luke Evans, Dan Stevens as Beast, the Josh Gad even as LeFou, which, by the way, all the people that were complaining and rioting and ranting about LeFou being gay, he was gay in the original. Watch the original again. He was okay. Maybe I will say that it's a lot more obvious in this movie, but in the original, he was gay in the original. Go back and watch it again and think about especially the Gaston song. Listen to the lyrics and think about it. He's gay in the original. Then again, he is more open about it in this movie because of the world we live in now. I mean, he's gay in the original. I don't really care that much about him being gay, whatever, but whatever. People overreacting about it, but whatever. Even Kevin Kline, who was Maurice Bella's father, the voiceover work of Ewan McGregor as Lumiere, Ian McKellen as Cogsworth, Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts. Every single person was great in this movie. Like, I can't think of one bad performance. One of the many other things that I loved about this movie is everything that the Jungle Book did and the things that Cinderella did was they expand the mythology of the stories, but still pay respect, I guess, to their inspiration of the animated classics. In the Jungle Book, like they did so many things different with the Jungle Book, and still they paid respect. Like, in the end, the first thing that comes to mind in the Jungle Book, Shere Khan dies in the Jungle Book, in the live action. In the cartoon, he doesn't. Cinderella, they expanded the mythology with Cinderella's parents, and in this, Beauty and the Beast, they expanded the mythology with the Beast's parents. They expanded the mythology with Belle's mom, where she was, and they expanded the mythology with, well, it's not really expanding the mythology. That brings me to another thing I liked about it was the beginning, where it showed, because in the animated movie, it only talked about it, it didn't show it, where the Beast was transformed, or the prince was transformed into a beast with sending that enchantress away, and the enchantress getting mad, and she caused him to turn into a beast. It showed that transformation, and I actually liked it more than I thought I would, because I heard about it being in the movie beforehand, but I didn't mind it. I liked how they did that. And another thing that I liked about it was something that I think that the original was lacking. I could be wrong. I don't remember that the original had humor, as much humor as this one did. All the jokes that happened in this movie were great, mainly with LeFou. Luke Evans as Gaston was hilarious. I mean, the Cogsworth and Lumiere, hilarious. Then again, Lumiere was, if I remember right, it's been a while since I've seen that animated movie, but if I remember right, there was humor every now and then, but I don't remember there being as much humor as this movie. But all the jokes that happened I laughed. The last thing that I can think of that I liked about this movie was at the end where the beast dies and that rose petal falls. Because in the animated movie, I do remember this. In the animated movie, Belle tells the beast, "I love you," before that rose petal fell. In this one, she doesn't. So the rose petal fell, the beast is presumably dead, and one by one, the objects, Lumiere, Mrs. Potts, Cogsworth, Chip, the dresser, I don't remember the freaking name, the piano, and that dog, they slowly transform into their objects and become objects. They're not human anymore. So at this moment, when that scene happened, because I remember that the Jungle Book, it happened or ended differently, with Shere Khan dying and Mowgli staying in the jungle, while in the cartoon, Shere Khan lived and Mowgli joined the village. So I thought to myself in the movies at the theater that this movie was going to end differently. Like in the back of my head, I thought, I don't really see that happening because it's a Disney movie, because of the happy ending and all that stuff. But I thought to myself, if that happened, that would be there would be no telling what would happen next in these next live adaptations. But I believed that for a second, for about, how long did the scene last? It lasted like about 5 minutes, around there. I believe for a couple of minutes, I'll say that. For a couple of minutes, I believe that they were going to stay objects for forever. And while you're watching a movie, you don't really think about the ending. You just focus on what's happening right now. So I thought that they were going to stay objects. And I forgot completely about the Enchantress walking up the steps. I didn't think anything else about that woman, because she was only in the beginning and the end. That was all you saw of her, was the beginning and the end of the movie. And I completely forgot about the Enchantress walking up those steps during that battle. So I thought they were going to stay objects. When the Enchantress got to the room where Beast and Belle was, or Belle was holding on to Beast and crying and all that stuff, Belle then said the line about "Don't leave me, I love you." And then the Enchantress saw that Belle loved him and reversed the spell, and Beast became the prince, and Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Chip all became their regular human selves. Oh, and another thing. The other thing that I liked about this movie is, in the animated movie, like, I remember watching that Honest trailer about the Beauty and the Beast, and them saying that how come nobody remembers the prince and everybody that lived there. In this movie, it explains it, that the Enchantress, she wiped the memories of the people in the town about the people in the castle. So people in the village didn't know who the prince was. They didn't know who Lumiere, who Cogsworth was, who Mrs. Potts, who all the others were. They completely forgot about it because the Enchantress cast that spell, cast a memory loss spell, basically. So I'm like how they and explained why nobody noticed they were missing or anything. And now that I've talked about the things I liked, the things I didn't like about the movie, which really is next to nothing, really, or at least two of them aren't. There's three things I really didn't like about the movie, and two of them I can live with. The first one of those two were, well, both of them dealt with the music. Then again, not saying they're bad versions or anything like that, but Ewan McGregor's version of Be Our Guest and Emma Thompson's version of Beauty and the Beast, I didn't really care for. Not saying that they're bad, but I guess I'm just used to the animated version of Be Our Guest and Beauty and the Beast. I don't know, in time maybe I'll learn to love them. But right now, I don't hate them. I just prefer the animated version of the songs. But then again, like I'm pretty sure I'm not alone with that one. But I just prefer the animated versions of those songs, particularly the rest of them I can live with, really. But yeah, those two songs I prefer the original, but I can still live with those two. The one or okay, the two, I just thought of another one. The two things that I didn't like, that was really my main problems of the movie, but not main enough to hurt the movie for me, was one of them being in the transformation scene from Beast to Prince at the end, where Belle is telling Beast, I love you, and blah, blah, that scene between them two, the dialogue was rushed. Like, it didn't have that same effect on me that the animated classic did. Like, the dialogue was rushed. Like, it was just rushed too fast. That was really, that and another one is really my main problem with that. And I don't know which one I hated or disliked more, where Beast lets Belle go for Belle to save her father. Beast, instead of doing his scream or roar in the animated clip that he did in the animated movie, instead of Beast doing a roar in this movie, he sang. I didn't like that. Like, they had new musical numbers in this movie, and I'm fine with that, but this one probably bugged me the most because it was more powerful when he roared in the animated movie than what he did in this one. My personal opinion, I don't know if anybody's going to agree with me on that one, but even after those four things that I can only find, those four things I can live with, kind of, because the rest of the movie is so good to me. But I mean, I love this movie, but this is the third movie of these adaptations that I've said keep them coming. But then again, the Alice in Wonderland movie and Maleficent, well, I didn't watch that second Alice in Wonderland movie, Alice Through the Looking Glass, I think it was. I didn't watch that, and I don't plan to, because I hated that first one, and I hated Maleficent. I love this movie. I'm not saying it's better than the animated movie. It's not. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Like I said earlier, if they can expand the mythology of the story and still pay respect to their inspiration of the animated movie, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't care what it is. If, like, they're making a Dumbo movie, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Mulan, Lion King, as long as it's good and that does that one thing, I'm fine with it. Keep them coming. I don't get why, like, the people complaining about making original ideas. I got a rant coming soon for those kind of people that complain that Hollywood's out of ideas and they're remaking and making sequels and reboots and all that stuff. I got a rant coming for you people soon. I love this movie, but four things that I can live with at the end of the day, but I'm like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel, because no movie's perfect. No movie is perfect. Every movie has its flaws. You can't tell me one movie. As much as I love Star Wars, as much as I love The Godfather, as much as I love Shawshank Redemption, much as I love all these other movies that I can go on and on about all day, they have their flaws. But like I said, I love this movie. I'm going to be doing a new rating scale instead of doing the 5 out of 5 stars or whatever. I've decided to go where, like, on Rotten Tomatoes does their score, where 100% is the highest a movie can get and 0% is the lowest. I will give Beauty and the Beast a 90%. Because I think this will be easier for people to understand and for me to actually rank a movie instead of doing like a 4.9 or 4.8 stars, because I did those ratings on like some classic reviews, and I didn't want to, but I couldn't quite figure out a way, because I've been trying to figure out a way to come up with a rating scale, but I couldn't quite get it. That's it for this video. What did you guys think of this movie? Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? Do you think that Hollywood is running out of ideas? If you do, subscribe. I got a rant coming for you soon. As always, like me on Facebook is JMash97. Follow me on Twitter, JMash97. Links in the description below. Mash out.